Everyone, and welcome to Elaine A. Power's Reptile Side Chat. Today, I know you're not interested in seeing me, but you can't help wanting to see this magnificent young man. This is Blue. He is a blue caiman hybrid iguana, which we'll go into more lately. And just so you can see his whole body, he's about 5 feet long. I don't know if you can't see. We have to stand up. He's actually, if I hold him, he can reach to the floor. But he's a magnificent family member. He's a sweetheart. He's the featured iguana in most of my in-person talks. But his name is Blue because he's as I said, a hybrid of a blue iguana. But his full name is Lucky Blue Lazarus, blue rock iguana, Grand Cayman rock iguana. And that's because he was supposed to be shipped overnight in November when he was old enough to travel from California to New Jersey. And unfortunately, instead of being put in overnight air express, he was put in parcel post. So it took him 8 days in a box during some of the coldest weather. And the post office lost track of him, so they didn't know where he was. But he finally arrived in New Jersey. And when the box was opened, the first person who looked in said, "Oh dear, he's dead." But no, he wasn't. A little eye opened and he was warmed up. And as you can see, it didn't stunt his growth at all. So his formal name is Lucky Blue Lazarus. Now, as I mentioned, he is a hybrid because he's a Grand Cayman blue iguana, which are very endangered. And you're not allowed to keep them as pets. They are regulated by the International Trade Commission, the IUCN, and so only specific breeding programs in some zoos like the San Diego Zoo are allowed to have the full-blooded blue iguanas. And of course, they have a wonderful program on Grand Cayman, and they've been releasing the iguanas into the wild again. So how do I happen to have him? Well, somewhere along the line, they made hybrids between the blue caiman iguana and a Cuban iguana, a very, very close relative. Now, I've heard two stories. One, that it was an accidental breeding, that they didn't realize that the female was a Cuban and not a Grand Cayman. But then there's also the story that it was done intentionally so that they could have blue iguanas in the pet trade, because they are a magnificent sky blue during mating season. And I don't know if you can see, but his spines have a little blue color to them that really comes out. So they're really a magnificent looking animal. And of course, people in the pet trade really want the excellent looking iguanas. And that's been a problem with poaching with a variety of the species of rock iguanas around the Caribbean. So what is a hybrid? A hybrid is the offspring of two closely related species, but not the same species. Now, this can happen if there's a separation between species like the Cuban rock iguana, which is the nubila of Cyclura nubila lewisi, and the blue caiman iguanas, Cyclura lewisi, is on Grand Cayman in the Cayman Islands. So there's a water barrier between the two species. This, it can be a mountain range. It can be a river that keeps the population separate. So they evolve into their own species, and yet genetically they're close enough to produce offspring. Now, these guys are closely enough related that they can produce fertile offspring. Many offspring from hybrid are infertile, like mules. Mules is the infertile offspring of a horse and a donkey. So you can't mate two mules together and get baby mules. But when you do the hybrid blue caiman and the Cuban rock iguanas, you can get fertile offspring. And so these animals have produced enough offspring for those of us in the pet trade who wanted our very own blue iguana. Now, I haven't done much work. I did volunteer for a day or two at the Queen Elizabeth II Botanical Garden, which houses the Cayman breeding program. I usually hang out with the other iguana in the Cayman Islands, the sister isle rock iguana. But I do really much enjoy seeing the beautiful blue iguanas. Now, these are the largest terrestrial lizard, of course, in these places. They're herbivores, so that they eat a lot of plants, a variety of plants, and then they disperse the seeds. So they're very important to the ecology and the maintenance of the plant population on the islands as well. Now, they became endangered because of habitat destruction, of course, but also because people introduced their pets, the feral dogs and cats. Unfortunately, the cats get a lot of the baby rock iguanas, and the dogs can take out the larger adult iguanas. And because they didn't evolve with these predators, they don't know that they're in danger until it's too late. They grow to about 3 or 4 feet long, 30 pounds. He's a pretty hefty boy here. He's not lightweight like those green iguanas. He's got a lot of mass to him. He has the stripes that help in the camouflage when he's walking along the dry island ecosystem and hiding in the shades of the trees and the bushes and brush. So they are opportunistic eaters. You know, if there's a dead animal, a dead bird perhaps, that they will eat it. And then sadly, of course, they will eat food that people food that they leave out, which isn't very healthy for them. They have been brought back from extinction. There was one point where this was the most endangered of the rock iguanas, but through the breeding program on Grand Cayman, they've been able to increase the numbers with a Head Start program, which means that they grow the iguanas up to about 2 years of age, where they're big enough to hang out on their own and keep away from the predators better than they can when they're little hatchlings. They live about 50 years, which is longer than the green iguanas. So these are long-term pets. This isn't something you get and want to keep for a couple of years. No, these are our long-term pets. He's being shy today. He's being coy. But so I wanted to introduce you to one of the iguanas and how he got his name. They're not as easy to swap iguanas as it is to do the tortoises, so I have to do them one at a time. But he's worth having his own appearance. So this is Lucky Blue Lazarus, who was born in California, moved to New Jersey in parcel post during the week of Thanksgiving in a snowstorm. And since then, he's gone on to be an ambassador in many school talks and actually many adult talks as well, because he is kind of mild-mannered despite his little vigorous attempt to get away there a moment ago. But so, if you would like to have a Zoom with Blue, contact me through my website, elaineapowers.com or lyricpower.net. And if you're in the Tucson area and would like Blue to visit you in person, we're happy to do that as well. And so this is Elaine A. Powers signing off for another Reptile Side Chat. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and share, and subscribe. Every time you comment or share one of my videos, it helps me make more videos. And the more videos I make, the more people we reach.